Thanks for staying with us. It's time to go to the press and look at what the headlines are. And joining us to discuss this is Mr. Nick Agule, a public affairs analyst. Good morning and welcome to the program, sir.
Good morning, Yambu, and good morning to our viewers globally.
Merry Christmas to you. We hope that you had fun yesterday.
I was in my house after I had come back from church. That's all I did.
It's still fun. You had fun with the Lord. We thank God for that.
Yes, I did, of course. That my life is enough fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's begin with the Punch newspaper. Lagos Rivers Funseekers Throng parks amid Stampede fears. Jos Uyo record high turnouts. Benue shuts down parks. Anambra residents remain indoors. So in spite of the federal government's largesse, I might call it, of half of the transport, I still don't know the transport companies that were earmarked for that anyway. But the federal government said train rides will be free and then buses will be half the price. Particular buses will be half the price. But this is the headline in the Punch. Lagos, Abuja, Rivers, Funseekers, Throng parks amid Stampede fears. But Uyo and some other places, there was not much activity. From Benue. Benue shuts down parks and Anambra residents remain indoors, even though Jos and Uyo record high turnout. So I don't know, wherever you are, just describe for us how it felt like at Christmas. That's what I'm interested in right now.
I'm in London, United Kingdom, and Christmas here is a quiet activity. Public transportation grinds to a halt. Shops are closed. People are indoors with families. It's a family time. But if we take the question to Nigeria, yes, if people are now taking precautionary measures in order not to go out to public places for fear of stampede, they are correct. Because we have had stampedes in the past few days, taking lives unnecessarily in Nigeria. And everybody needs to have personal sense of safety and security around them. If you see that a place is crowding up, it's better you just leave that place immediately so that you don't put yourself at risk. The government needs to take more measures, like on a public holiday, like Christmas Day or Boxing Day. Government needs to send more hands to public places like parks, to ensure that there's crowd control so that we don't keep losing unnecessary lives. 2024 was a bad year. I can't imagine the number of people that were lost in boat accidents, and then now stampedes have come in. So not to talk about those we lost through the petrol tanker fires. All of these are avoidable deaths.
And flood.
The government needs to do something about it.
Some to
and
flood.
Floods,
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah. I see a situation where I'm not sure the parks that were supposed to carry these people had a heavy security presence that could have controlled the crowd and all that. We've been having what we now call in Nigeria Dirty December, where we have crowds of over 30,000 wherever the venue is, and we're not seeing stampedes and all that. Stampedes now seem to be connected to food, and the federal government still doesn't believe that they have a hand in why these things are happening, and I think that's very unfortunate. But we're talking security now. There's another unfortunate event that has happened, and this is not the first time, and I hope that it's going to be the last time. On the Punch newspaper, it says Sokoto villagers accidentally killed as NAF bombs Lakurawa terrorist. That same story on the Daily Trust says airstrike kills 10 Sokoto villagers. And the riders they have links with Lakurawa terrorists. That's according to military. Suicide bomber kills 2 in Borno, 6 soldiers injured, 450 people killed in accidental bombing in 10 years. That's on the Daily Trust as well. So in the meantime, in the Daily Times, Shetima, the vice president, is pledging unyielding commitment to Nigerians' welfare and security. I'm finding it hard to even marry the two together, where our own security keeps killing our people, and even now that these 10 people are reportedly dead because of the failure or the mistake of the Nigerian Air Force, they are still saying that these people have links with Lukarawa and that's why they were killed. I just wonder what kind of security situation we are going to have in the next year if the fighter jets and the drones that the federal government is procuring, instead of killing only the terrorists or hunting them down, we're now having casualties. I don't know whether that's a Pyrrhic victory that we're winning.
It's a tragedy of monumental proportions, because not only are these accidental killings are taking place, security in Nigeria actually also turned their guns on Nigerians. Let us not forget the protests that we have had in Nigeria in recent times, the NSAS protests and even the End Bank governors protest. The Nigerian security agents operating with arms, both by Nigerians' money and being paid by Nigerians' money, turned their guns on Nigerians.
Well, they're denying that one and saying that Amnesty International should even, was it Amnesty International or so, that they should apologize to the Nigerian army or police because there were no casualties in the end bad governance. So they're still denying it till today. So I don't know whether it's our word against theirs as it is.
Well, you know, I had this conversation with Rume when Amnesty issued their statement, and I told her that it was going to only be a matter of days that the security agents are going to come up with a statement denying that nothing happened, and I have been proved right. So it's just like in NSAS where they say nobody, not even a single bullet was fired. This is the situation we have in Nigeria. I mean, the Nigeria Security High Command, they don't have the trust of Nigerians. Everybody knows. When I was growing up as a child, if I saw a soldier on the road, I felt very secure. I felt that, oh, wow, here I'm protected. That's not the situation now. If I see a soldier with a gun, I fear for my life, because anything can happen and I will be dead the next minute. So that they are denying that there are no casualties and all of that contradicts reports from hospitals that people are brought in dead with bullet wounds. You see, if we want a Nigeria that is going to work for us, we cannot just let things like this slide, you know, and this is where responsibility rests with Mr. President. He is the one that we make sure that those who were responsible for this kind of act of killing Nigerians in cold blood are properly investigated and brought to book. Until we are bringing people to book, look, Nigeria is not going to work. This is simply where we are. And Mr. President's presidential media chat does not give any hope at all, because he totally foreclosed any investigation of the Security High Command and said that he doesn't want to show that he's not appreciative of the work that they are doing. Basically granting a blank check to them to do whatever they want with the budget that is allocated to them. Very sad.
It's sad. Okay, let's go to the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust is saying police arrest, a small headline there is saying police arrest bishops, others over Abuja church stampede. That same story in different words is saying police, Catholic Archbishop clash over Abuja stampede probe. I brought them together. That's on the Nation newspaper. I brought them together because the police is placing all the responsibility of this stampede on the organizers of these events. Not just the one in Abuja. The one in Abuja was organized by a Catholic church, and now the bishop has been arrested, and another priest, I think. And then we had the one in Oyo, which involved the former queen of Oni of Ife. She has been arrested alongside, I think, 2 other people because they were the organizers of this event. And I don't know, the other one that happened in Anambra, if someone has been arrested, I can't remember the story very well. But the blame squarely is being placed on the shoulders of the organizers of this stampede, and the federal government has washed its hands and said they are not responsible in any way, whether directly or indirectly. The fault is on the organizers. So there's this back and forth. who takes the blame and all that. I don't know what you feel about this. We're concentrating on stampedes, and not just the one in Abuja, but every one that we've had in the past few days that is directly linked to sharing of palliatives.
I think the blame needs to go both ways. The blame needs to go to both the organizers and the government, whose duty is to protect lives and property. So for the organizers, we know over time, and given the excruciating hunger that is happening in the country now, that if you go and announce that you are going to offer palliatives, like in terms of food, that you are going to have a crowd on your hands. So you should take adequate measures to ensure that there's crowd control. You know, you might want people to, you might have measures like maybe you need to call on phone, take a number, you have to have a number before you come, so that it is only those who have the numbers that can come and things like that. But there has to be adequate crowd control measures put in place. Otherwise, in your bid to do good, you end up causing the loss of life. So the organizers have a blame, but also the government has a blame. You know, governments everywhere in the world, anywhere they notice that there is an activity that is having the potential to cause harm to their citizens, they respond, they take action to do that. You know, in Nigeria, we don't even have a response system in Nigeria. For instance, when the stampede was, when the crowd was surging, if it was in the UK here, where I'm speaking to you, the citizen could have just picked up their phone and called 999 and informed the control central command that a crowd is surging here that could lead to a stampede, and within minutes, that place would have been flooded with security agents, you know, to bring that crowd under control and prevent the loss of lives. In Nigeria, if you have a problem, what number are you going to call? You know, most times you see police giving you GSM numbers. Who in the 21st century uses GSM numbers as an emergency number? Because that GSM number, this handset itself can be out of battery, or the owner of the handset, the holder of the handset is asleep, or is not with it, or the handset is jammed with another call, so your call can't get there. What stops Nigeria, a modern day country, to install a central command system like you have in the US, in the UK, and everywhere, where citizens can inform the authorities about what is happening, making the citizens also security agents, because if they see something that is looking like an insecurity, they call the command. Mr. President, in his media chat, was very quick to point out that, oh, in the US and in the UK, you have food banks. Why did he not quote that in the US and the UK, you have a central command system of 911 in the UK, I mean in the US, and 999 in the UK, where citizens can interact with the authority? Once you call 999, they will ask you, is it an ambulance, is it a security, or is it fire? Those three, and within minutes, the response comes because you are at the scene, you know what is happening, so you inform the authorities. You know, that is how it's done. Simple things like that, we don't have them in Nigeria. And then Mr. President says, I'm going all over the world to go and shop for investors. Which investors will come to a place where bandits can kidnap you and they can hold you hostage on Nigeria's soil, and the security high commander are doing nothing about it?
Yeah, it's just pathetic. I'm sure if you're organizing an event, you go to the police and tell them, they will ask you to pay for the police men, and their welfare is on you and everything, and then you pay a particular amount to the police station, and depending on how many policemen you are supposed to get. So if you want a crowd to come and you go to a police station and then you have to spend so much money, you will cut your cost according to how you can manage it. And maybe instead of having 50 policemen that could have control the crowd, you go for like 5 or 10 because that's what you can afford. And they're making it very cumbersome. Now, the government, especially like the Lagos State government, kudos to them anyway. They have tried to put some measures in place, and they're saying that if you have a crowd of over 200 people, you will have to go and seek permission, and then before you can be given that permission to come and host that crowd. I don't know the details of this permission, whether it is just go there, tell the government, and then they accept, and then they will give you other logistics, or you will go and seek permission, and they'll ask you to provide the things that they could have provided, like security, and you're asked to pay through the nose. I don't know whether you have to buy a form that will cost you money. They're silent upon those ones, but a few things that they have told us you need to do, and then you go and seek permission. That's there. So if this is implemented, a case where you have to seek permission, which is done in other places anyway, what are some of the provisions that you think that permission should have? What are some of the things that government should look out for? And what are the things that the people themselves should look out for? Even though we are digressing a little bit, but we need this.
It's very important to have a system like that in place, whereby if you are organizing any event that needs crowd control, you have to seek a permit from the authorities, so that the authorities are fully aware of what you are doing, and the authorities also ask you to state the crowd control measures that you have in place. Elsewhere, if you are doing an event like that, you obtain a permit, the authorities will even want to know how you are going to do traffic at the event. If people are coming with their cars or vehicles, how do you have adequate parking space? Do you have adequate emergency exits? Do you have a fire, system, system to fight fires if fires emanate at that place, and things like that. So for me, given what has happened now, this needs to be codified. It needs to be part of our laws that, look, before you organize an event that has crowd, it doesn't matter what event is. In that Abuja, I went to attend a Davido concert, and I was tear gassed. I was tear gassed because they didn't have crowd control. They let everybody, with or without ticket, to come into the Eagle Square. And, and then they had only one place where they were now revalidating your ticket by putting an armband around your wrist. And that led to a crash surge. So this is the kind of things that people are organizing events without having the necessary training and capacity and competence in managing crowds. And you look at Israel here in the UK, if Arsenal are playing today, they are going to have 90,000 people come into their stadium. And yet, they come in without any issue, they go out without any issue. That is hard work that has been put in by the organizers to ensure that people come into this venue and leave this venue without any hassle.
But what is the role of the government in all this? Because if obtaining this permit just means come and tell me, and then everything will leave it back to you. You are the ones that will fund the police. You are the one that will fund everything that is going to be in that event. I'm sure a lot of people will still look for a way to avoid this, because that is expenditure that they may not be prepared to do. It always happens. They will want to cut corners. So what role does the government play, especially in the climes that you're talking about now? If you tell them that this is what I want to do, what does the government do to help you as well to control your crowd? I'm saying this because it is provided in the law that if you want to organize a protest, for instance, you have security that will come with you. But here you tell them you want to organize a protest, they begin to threaten you. That you cannot hold that protest, and they're doing all sorts of things, and then they let you go there, and they come with guns and begin to shoot. That's why we're talking about casualties right now. So in this kind of a situation, maybe they don't know what role they should have played. So in your thinking, what role could the government play to make sure that this permit doesn't just come with hearing and then leaving you to your fate?
I think it will become too much on the side of government if they have to provide security and crowd control measures at every event that the crowd is expected. I'll tell you what happens here in the UK. So here in the UK, if Arsenal are organizing a match today, the police will be there in full force, but Arsenal pays for that. It's Arsenal Football Club that pays for that security, because they are the ones organizing the match. And they are taking money from the crowd that is coming. So the cost of policing that event is part of the cost that they have to bear. taking a gate fee from the organizers. But then, if citizens are going out on a protest, the police provides them cover to exercise their constitutional rights. Nobody pays for that, because that protection is for the public good. So there are two different things here. So if in Nigeria you organize a private event and there is a crowd, you should pay for your security. Look, if you don't have money to pay for your security, then don't bother to organize a private event. You know, you can also, like if you have food, you want to share food palliatives, don't bother to call people to come to a venue where there will be a crowd. Just send the food to wherever you know that food is needed, you know, without bringing people. But if you have to bring a crowd, you should pay for that, because the Nigerian security agents cannot provide this kind of services to everybody that is organizing an event that involves crowds. That would be too much.
I'm sure they'll be very happy at this. They'll be very happy at what you have said, because if you even run to the police station and say, someone has just snatched my phone right now, they will ask you to buy fuel for their vehicle and all that. That's how they fight crime here. So I'm sure they will be very happy with what you have just said right now.
No, your own security. That's not what I'm saying.
They will take you to the next level.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
I know that is not what you're saying, but I'm telling you what has been happening. Even in areas where they should do it for free and do it as part of their job, they do this. Now that they know that this is what is going to be, they can take it even a notch higher. That's what I'm saying. I do hope that we will come to that point where everybody will be security conscious, not just the police themselves. And I also hope that there will be laws put in place that will make private security very, very strong in Nigeria, so that we come to a point where all the celebrities will not need to be carrying police up and down. They should have private security, bodyguards and all that, and then leave the police for the ordinary man to police the citizens. I pray for a lot of things when it comes to security, and that's why I was just afraid that I was just expressing what has been happening, not that I was quoting what you had said. But this is how far we can go, Mr. Agule, on the program, on the segment this morning. Would like to thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Yango, and Merry Christmas to Nigerians. Let's keep hope alive despite the challenges.
Thank you so much. We've been talking with Mr. Nick Agule. He's an energy expert and he's a public affairs analyst. We were looking at the headlines today. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll be looking at our first hot topic for this morning. And the first hot topic is going to be on Dele Farotimi. You already know the story. Stay with us.